Hello and welcome back to another episode of AddiBiotics Chat Over Coffee. This week we have the esteemed pleasure of interviewing Mr Daniel Jezo from ETL. If you don't remember Daniel, here's a little reminder for you.
Hi, I'm Daniel, so I'm the business owner for ETL, Everything That's Life. I do all organic fruit and veg, a lot of exotic stuff as well. So
I remember him from the Beeston Farmers Market that we filmed just before Christmas, and he was just one of the nicest people I've ever had the opportunity of coming across. And today we're going to know how he got into the food business, what it means to him, and the overall health that he's trying to change in the city of Nottingham. Now sit back, relax, grab yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or even just a glass of water and enjoy this interview. And don't forget to click subscribe and turn on those notifications too while you're at it. Daniel Jezo, thank you so much for doing this. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Addy. Thanks for having me.
That's our pleasure, brother. Nice to see you again, and look like you're doing well. You haven't changed a bit since I last seen you.
Yeah, I aged well. That's what it is. I aged well. But no, lots of exciting stuff been happening since I last seen you. And yeah, I can't wait really just to talk about it and just let you know what's been going on and see what we can do just to improve the health of Nottingham.
That's good. That's a good thing. So obviously, health in Nottingham is obviously, well, health all over the place is just as important, isn't it? But you always have to look after yourself. And as you mentioned before, you are what you eat, and
Yeah,
it's important to always put the right fuel into yourself, isn't it?
yeah.
Definitely. So first of all, before we get started, as I do with all my guests, I'd like to say congratulations on all your accomplishments with ETL and everything else you're doing on the side. It's absolutely amazing. You can sense the change that you are making in people's lives with everything like that, especially when it comes to food and everything. But it's good stuff that you're doing there, Daniel.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Addy.
No worries. It's just definitely, it's just, you have to be grateful. And also, this is not just your interview, this is your induction into Biotic Universe, a fully fledged induction as well. And I'd say on the behalf of everybody here, it's an absolute pleasure to have you joining the Biotic Universe and having you on the show as well. Thank you again, Daniel.
Thanks for having me as well.
Our pleasure. It's always a pleasure. So what is your background and how did you get into the organic food and health business?
It's a good question, I would probably say my culture is something that's had a massive impact. So my mum's Italian, my dad's Jamaican, and just from a kid, I've always went, like, my mum used to send me out to Italy for the 6 weeks holiday, so I spent a lot of time in Italy.
Sweet.
And my grandma's brother, she's got a farm. Sorry, he's got a farm, so I spent time on the tractor. We used to harvest the crops. I think back and I remember seeing my auntie milking the cows and would have that same milk on our cereal. And, it really was, my grandma lives in Tuscany, so it's North Italy. It's the equivalent of a countryside over in England. So there's no cities, it's all little villages and things like that. And, you got your potatoes from your next door neighbor, you got green beans from your other neighbor. My grandma herself, she grew lots of stuff. So food's always really been a big part of my life, to be honest. And just learning how to cook, it was never forced on, because I've got siblings as well. It was never forced on us. It was just, that's what we used to do to bond. As a kid, you're up early in the morning. My grandparents were always up early. So I'd be making fresh pasta with my grandma at 7 in the morning, and we'd just be talking about whatever. And then lockdown happened. Fast forwarding about 20-30 years. So lockdown. Coming into lockdown, I've been a business analyst for quite a few years at Eon. And, I enjoyed it because I enjoyed challenges and learning new stuff and, just making computer script manipulate anything anything really is just brilliant, the coding behind it. But I come into lockdown and it gave me space because we started to work from home. And it just gave me a lot of space. You know, I started to do things that I hadn't done for ages, like going on walks, like really long walks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I just had this idea that I didn't want to be an analyst for the rest of my life. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to do something bigger, and I wanted to have an impact on people. And food is something that's always been big, like I've said. So, you know, I do a lot of cook-ups, and my friends come round, you know, and I force veg down. And
Where's my invitation?
yeah, exactly. It'll be coming soon. I'm literally just in the middle of getting my kitchen done at the minute. So when that's all done, you know, you'll definitely get an invite, and people will see more cooking videos and stuff like that. But, you know, so I've always been big into cooking, and, you know, for me, my thing is really all about health. That's my big background. I've always been athletic. I've always played sports. I've always been active, you know. Even as a kid, I'd rather be out the house than in the house.
Yeah.
And I think when you just kind of put it all together, I think that food is a great place to start with, just trying to get people to be more conscious about what they're eating,
Yeah.
and you know, having the knowledge behind it as well, some real solid knowledge. Like a lot of the time we say stuff like, you know, eat your carrots because they'll help you see in the dark, but they'll never help you see in the dark. So, you know, do we really know why we should eat carrots, kind of thing? And it's just, you know, getting that message out there without it being forceful. Because my thing isn't that you know, people need to do this or need to do that. It's just having the knowledge and the awareness, and then just making the best decision for you.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And it's always, like I say, it's always trying to pass a positive message out to everybody, isn't it? To see that, you know, this is done, this a lot of kids nowadays, they unfortunately don't want to eat their fruits and veggies, do they? They just want to eat all the processed, unhealthy stuff. They don't know what that's doing to them until they find out down later the line, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's scary even now when we had a look at some of the COVID stats, the amount of kids that have got like mental health, and you think like kids are supposed to be an age where, you know, we talk about it being the days where you never had a care in the world. But these
Yeah,
kids
exactly.
nowadays probably are clearly not living like that. And, you know, I always, it's probably a bit of a stereotype, but it's from what I've experienced, just from what's been around me. But I always feel like that kind of the kid that's picky with their food is
Yeah,
probably a parent that's picky with their food.
yeah, I am. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's almost like learned behavior. So where that kind of doesn't exist in my family. And that's because everyone gives everything a go. Everyone eats everything. It's introduced to you really young, you know. So, you know, I started the markets in August last year. And I guess naively, I kind of came into it thinking all kids have tried apples, all kids have tried oranges, all kids have tried bananas, all kids have tried
Yeah,
kiwi, mangoes, to find out that that wasn't the case. You know, so it's been a brilliant learning curve for me as well, to say that, you know, it's made me be really grateful for how I grew up,
that's
and
good.
realize not everybody's grown up the same. And, you know, yeah, it's just been brilliant. I remember picking figs from my grandma's fig tree in Italy, and, you know, all of
That
that
must have
kind
been
of
the best.
stuff. Yeah,
That must have been
oh,
the best.
brilliant, brilliant. You know, just water and sunshine. That's all it got, you
That's all you
know.
need. Because I remember when I met you for the first time in Beeston, and I was doing the video vlog there and everything, and you were like, "Hey, have a lychee, it's on me," and all that stuff. It was really, it was really kind gesture of that. And I showed, and I told it to like all the colleagues who work with me as well. They were like, "Oh, that's really kind. We got to meet this guy, so don't worry about it. Eventually, we're going to meet him as well, and he's going to come on the show." And yeah, like luckily, magic has struck today, and
Yeah,
here you are. And also, how did you come up with the name ETL? And please tell everybody what it stands for.
ETL. So everything that's life. I was brainstorming. I
Yeah,
was writing, you know, names down in a book. And so basically, as a kid, it sounds really silly, but as a kid, I've always made music. I used to have a studio in my bedroom at my mum's house and stuff, and I always made music. I always kind of rapped and stuff. And I was listening to one of my tunes that I'd written, and that was one of the lyrics in it. I was kind of referring to, you know, holistic health as a whole, you know, and kind of it had everything that's life in it, and I just wrote it down. And when I went back to look at all the names that I kind of come up with, everything that's life was, it just resonated, you know,
Yeah.
it just resonated. And from there, yeah, that was it, and that's what it will be, you know. So ETL, everything that's life, you know. And that's why also as well, you know, you see the picture in it is the tree of life.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
true. It's probably
Yeah,
resembling everything that you're saying.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, and I called it everything that's life because for me, it's not just about the food. So I also do sustainable clothing. I do the organic cotton t-shirts. I do the hoodies. This is one of the ones that I've got on at the moment. So it is more about education than it is about just selling food, because even just eating healthy by itself won't maximize your health. You know, you need to be sleeping well. You know, it
Yeah.
comes down to thoughts and feelings and being able to manage them in the right way. And food can help you do that.
Yeah, that is for sure. As you mentioned earlier as well, you are what you eat, and obviously you eat the right amount of food. And as you mentioned, getting a good night's sleep as well. I'm guessing you get about 12 hours a night.
I'd be looking. I'm really functional on 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
for
the
seven
best.
to eight hours, I'm really good. You know, it's important you go to sleep at a decent time. You know, so if you someone who regularly goes to sleep at, let's say, 1, 2 o'clock, you'll always have groggy mornings. You know, where if you
Definitely.
you know, if you try to get your head down before 12, let's say, you know, then at least you're kind of asleep in those important hours where your body does what it does to make sure that you wake up with that spring in your step.
That's the best way, isn't it? What time would you recommend people should sleep?
Um, I'm probably a bit of a granddad, so for me, my optimal 8 hours would be from 10 till 6.
Perfect. That's the best time.
You know, I always remember being young, and even from like my mom and my grandparents, they were never sleeping. Like all of my family, they've always been up early. You know, there's always things to do to start your day. You know,
Yeah.
and I think it's right to rise with the sun. I think we're supposed to rise with the sun, you know. That's why school starts early. You know, as a kid, was up at 7 o'clock for school, starting to get ready before you left out and that. So, yeah. But then sometimes you go to college and uni and you party a bit, don't you? So,
Yeah, yeah, guilty as charged as everybody else is.